All right, I'll call the meeting to order. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
This is an open meeting of the Seward, Nebraska governing body. The city of Seward abides by the Nebraska Open Meetings Act in conducting business. A copy of the Nebraska Open Meetings Act is displayed on the north wall of this meeting room facility as required. Disclosure of meeting recording processes is posted in the meeting room. A participant sign-in sheet is available for use by any citizen addressing the council. Presenter shall approach the podium, state their name and address for the clerk's record, and are asked to limit remarks to 5 minutes. All remarks shall be directed to the mayor, who shall determine by whom any appropriate response shall be made. The city of Seward reserves the right to adjust the order of items on this agenda if necessary and may elect to take action on any of the items listed. Please call the roll.
Kaler. Here. Holtzman.
Here.
Miller. Singleton.
Here.
Streisand.
Here.
Tanyas. Wergen.
Here.
Wilkin.
Here.
We have a quorum. First two items this evening make up the consent agenda.
Move to approve.
Second.
We have a motion and a second.
Moved by Streisand, second by Singleton.
This is on. Oh, can you turn it on first? Okay, and go ahead. Please display the votes. Go ahead and read them all.
Okay. Wilkin.
Just say voting in favor.
Oh, sorry. Voting in favor. Wilkin. Kaler. Holtzman. Singleton. Streisand. Wergen.
Motion carries. Next we have under agenda request item, this is a discussion regarding the City of Seward Electric and Water Advanced Metering Infrastructure, AMI systems. Trevor Pierce is here this evening. Did you want to say anything first before he starts?
I'll just turn it over to Trevor and he can kind of explain why he had the request, and then if the council has any follow-up questions of me, pursuant to that, we'll go from there. Just to note, I met with Trevor yesterday. We were able to get together and put our schedules together and have a discussion, but I'll let Trevor introduce himself and talk about his thoughts.
Welcome.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, City Council, Mr. Butcher. My name is Trevor Pierce. I live at 1688 Carroll K Boulevard. I'm a software developer, so I'm in tech, and I'm try to stay aware and keep my finger on the pulse of all things in technology. A few weeks ago, there was a post on Seward Community Chat on Facebook about the city was installing smart electric meters, and that the post had a lot of questions and a lot of conjecture, but not a lot of answers about like what kind of data was going to be collected, and that that perked my ears up, because in technology we have a saying, if it's free, you're the product. And I had real questions about how much data was going to be collected, how long it was going to be collected, how detailed it was, and that concerned me. So I reached out, and Mr. Butcher invited me down to City Hall yesterday, and we sat and talked for about a half an hour, and I was very encouraged by the answers he gave me. Number one, he said the smart meters are literally collecting one data point every 24 hours, and that is kilowatt hours used in the last 24-hour period. Said the data is encrypted in transit, it's encrypted at rest, and it's in a secure cloud storage. So all of those things were the things I was hoping to hear. Actually, once we got to talking, I realized that having a daily rolling number of how many kilowatt hours I'd use would be really beneficial to me, because I have servers and home network here, so my usage is a little bit different than a typical household. My concern was some smart meters have the ability to do almost near-time or almost real-time monitoring of not only what you're using, but how much electricity you're using, but also the type of devices that are on, like your air conditioner, your toaster, your oven. With a couple of weeks of data that's that comprehensive, you can build quite a understanding of the comings and goings of a household, and that feels very invasive of privacy. Folks have an expectation of privacy in their own homes. And if we were collecting data that comprehensive, I felt like that would be something the public needed to know, and I wanted to ask if that was the case, and if it was, what was going to be done with it? Was it going to be mined? Was it going to be sold? How secure was it? Data that comprehensive and that detailed would be very interesting to unscrupulous businesses, to scammers, and to other bad actors. But To the city's credit, none of that is happening, and I was very encouraged by that, and I appreciate that. And I would also implore the mayor and the council that if vendors come around in the future and say, we have advanced meters with more features, especially if they're offering sweetheart deals, just say no, because they are after the data, and that is not becoming, a city that values the privacy of its citizenry. And so, like I said, I'm very happy with how this turned out, with what the city is doing. I feel like it's beneficial for the city, it's beneficial for consumers, and it's gonna lead to a cost-effective product. So, that's what I like to say about it, and I appreciate the opportunity to come speak.
Absolutely appreciate your willingness to come forward and bring this issue up. I think these meters are very similar to what we've had installed. I think one of the main differences is just the delivery of the information, whether it goes through the electric line or through radio signals is kind of the main difference. It's kind of like the dumbest smart meter we could find. Sounds like that's what you're hoping for.
It is very much, yes, sir.
And so, and to be honest with you, as the elected official, I don't personally want to have more data than we actually need for the reasons that you mentioned. Securing that data, making sure it's not used for, inappropriate or scrupulous purposes. And so that's one of the reasons. And in fact, we actually ordered these like a couple years ago, didn't we? And they just, because of COVID and everything, they just took a lot longer. And we just didn't want people surprised that these were being installed, and so that's why we put that post up. Was really the intent was to inform, not to scare or give concern. But I'm glad that you brought this forward to have that discussion, because I do think this is probably a more productive forum maybe than Seward community chat sometimes.
Yes, sir, I felt like it was. Like I could ask a lot of questions on community chat, and I felt like one of two things was gonna happen. It was going to go off the rails in the comment section, or I was gonna just wind folks up over things that weren't even happening.
Right.
And I thought, let's go to the source, let's ask the city, let's find out, and then decide what the next most appropriate course of action might be.
Trevor, did you have any other information that you seek from us on this item or discussion points, or are you satisfied with the conversation with Greg and where we are tonight?
No, Mr. Mayor, I have all the information I need, and I really appreciate Greg and taking time out of your schedule yesterday to meet with me, and I'm really happy with where this is going and see this as a net positive for everyone.
Great. Thank you so much, appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Mayor, if I can, I'll just add a few points. One is, we implemented, one is essentially smart meters that read the information back rather than having a meter reader go out and read each individual meter on the back of the house. We implemented those in approximately 2008 within a Clara system that we went together with NPPD and Seward Rural Electric at the time. I believe it's down in Norris. In approximately 2017-18, when I got here, we were notified that Norris was moving away to implement their own smart meter system that they have throughout the rest of their region, and then NPPD was as well. NPPD was the software holder of the Aclara system that we were utilizing at the time. They said, we're no longer going to implement it either, so you're going to have to do it on your own or find an alternative. That's when this council, not the specific council, but the council made the decision to go out and bid for new meters. We ultimately selected another Aclara meter product, so we stayed with the same meter company, an updated but same meter software from Aclara. We transitioned from a TWAC system, which reads through the lines, to a RF system that reads through radio frequency. And the last major change was also, and me and Trevor talked about this, was the ability to turn the meter on and off remotely, rather than physically have to go turn it on or remove it at the site. That's for purposes of billings, if someone doesn't pay their billing. We've had numerous incidents in the past where that can be a contentious situation. Also, some of those are hard to get to. They're in yards where you may have to scale a fence or figure out how to get into it. They may also be covered up in different ways. This allows for just a safer, I don't need a workers' comp claim because somebody's trying to climb over a fence to try and get back to a meter. We assign them to go turn off. And so by having this system, it also allows us to turn that back on a lot quicker. Now when you pay, if you have a delinquent bill at night, you have to go to the PD office, which is where you go now. You make your payment, they have to call dispatch, dispatch calls the on-call electric lineman. He has a 30-minute response time to get in. He has to get in the truck, go out, do the meter, take the truck back, and go home. Now the PD, through their secured remote login, they can log in as soon as you pay them, and within seconds they've turned you back on. So an efficiency, a safety matter. I mean, just kind of hits all things. But again, we're only collecting, as Mr. Pearson and I talked about, we're collecting data every 24 hours. The reason we do that also is because rental in and out. Otherwise, we'd probably just get your monthly, but you know, somebody may come to us and say, hey, I need that transitioned on Monday, somebody's moving out, on Friday I got a new tenant coming in, that bill will have moved through 3 different people. By taking that 24-hour reading, it just makes the cycle work correctly to put the billing out. So that's kind of what's going on with meters.
Alright. Thank you.
Thank you.
Alright, next we have under administrative items, this is consideration of a resolution approving the street closure crossing Highway 15 for Seward County Chamber Development Partnership Christmas Festival Annual Lighted Christmas Parade on November 25th, 2023. We have Donna, welcome. I believe we do this every year. This is because it crosses the highway for the 4th of July parade as well as the Lighted Christmas Parade. You'll see this every year because the state at one point said that they wanted a resolution from the city in order to do the crossing. I'm not aware of them ever rejecting one of these, but I think they just want something formal from the city in writing, and this is what we've been doing now for a number of years. But Donna, do you want to kind of update everyone on the parade and festivities?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Donna Hendrickson, I'm with SCCDP, 1768 North 2nd Street here in Seward. There's no change in the route for the parade this year, same as last year. And someone had asked me, well, are we gonna extend it? And I said, no, this year we're stopping at the Armory again, there with the National Guard. It worked out real well for drop-off, pick-up kids and people involved with the parade. So we got the same route as last year. So.
And November 25th, looks like.
November 25th.
Okay, wonderful.
There's the Saturday after Thanksgiving.
All right. Any questions or comments from the council, or would someone like to introduce a resolution?
I'll introduce a resolution.
All right.
Introduced by Oregon.
The resolution has been introduced and is designated as resolution number 2023-15. Would anyone like to move that this resolution be passed and adopted?
Second.
Moved by Colterman, second by Streisand.
Any further discussion? Seeing none, please register your votes. Please display the votes.
Voting in favor, Wilkin, Taylor, Coltman, Singleton, Streisand, Morgan.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Item number 2, consideration of a request for the city to assist with the downtown Seward sound system installation. Donna, welcome back.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. We have had a very generous person step forward to pay for the balance of the sound system, and we were looking into what all is involved and how quickly we could get it installed. And we were working with Joe Rzitka, and he visited with Larry at the electrical office, and they came to the realization that we could use existing conduit, so it should be a very quick and easy installation. Lord willing. And so we would have a sound system by the Christmas festival. And yeah, that's what I can tell you about it.
All right. Thank you very much. Any questions or comments from the council? Or would someone like to make a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Singleton, second by Streisand.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, please register your votes. Please display the votes.
Voting in favor, Wilkin, Taylor, Coltman, Singleton, Streisand, Morgan.
All right, thank you. Item number 3, consideration of a recommendation to award a construction contract to Garing Construction and Ready Mix Company Incorporated for the Isaac Walton to Highway 15 intersection improvements project in the amount of $850,987.95 and authorization for mayor to sign all documents. Mike, welcome.
Thank you, Mike Onleby, city engineer. Thank you and good evening. Roughly a month ago, we came to you and asked for authorization to advertise for a project to improve the intersection of Isaac Walton and Highway 15. This is in preparation for the NDOT Highway 15 reconstruction starting in April of next year. That state project will be let in December 14th, and if they find a qualified bidder, of course, they will start next April. So this project is the location of where barricades will be installed, and for a period of about 4 to 6 months in the first phase, all traffic will be routed onto Isaac Walton Road in and out. So Isaac, from Highway 15 out Isaac Walton to 294th paved, north to Highway 34 and in. Truck route is a separate route. It's Highway 79 to the east. We do anticipate a lot of traffic, so this project is to remove what the state calls a reverse curve. That's an S curve with 2 tight radii. It's not possible to get 2 tractor trailers to pass by each other, or a tractor trailer in a vehicle through that intersection. So this project corrects that. It's a simple curve. The intersection is actually moving about 100 feet to the south. So we did have a open public bid. The bid opening was last Thursday. We got a single bid, not totally unexpected because we provided just 70 calendar days to complete the project. Of course, it may be that if weather does not hold out, we have to suspend the project for the winter. This is pretty common, and finish up construction in the spring. But they're very confident that they will be able to complete the project. So the bid that we have that we're asking for award is in the amount of $850,987.95. No other bids to compare it to, but it was just 3% over the engineer's estimate. We looked through the bid. We think it's a very good bid from a qualified contractor, reputable contractor out of Columbus, Ohio. Family-run operation. They've done many projects. They did the Waverly Road project for us. They're currently working on the East Seward Road project as well. And so they are mobilized and they're using the same subs on this other project. So essentially they'll be able to work back and forth. They are a sub on the Bradford Street and Park Avenue projects as well, doing the paving. So we have taking advantage of a contractor that's mobilized and able to actually do the work in a short time frame. So with that, ask for council's approval for the mayor to sign all documents for the award.
Thanks, Mike. Are there any questions or comments from the council?
I think I just also note, Mike, you also did reach out to some people about this project, is that correct?
Beyond,
Just for notification purposes?
for notification, well, certainly we did our standard contractors.
No, businesses.
I'm sorry.
About this project coming up.
We have contacted John Heath, who has the fields to the east of this intersection. We've contacted Tenneco, and we've contacted Summit Contracting, who's developing the property just west of Tenneco.
Yep.
Yes,
Yeah,
we did.
just letting people, I mean, that's gonna have an effect on them, and so as soon as we knew we were gonna move forward with this, we shared it with them, but no matter what, we don't have an alternative to move traffic around the city for this portion of the Highway 15 project. It was going there one way or the other, so it was better to try and make it safe for their employees, their workers, their contractors, as well as the citizens of Seward, so we let them know as well. Just wanted to let.
Sure, thanks.
Any other questions or comments? Otherwise, entertain a motion.
Move to approve.
Second.
Moved by Singleton, second by Streisand.
You have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, please register your votes. Please display the votes.
Voting in favor, Wilkin, Kaler, Colterman, Singleton, Streisand, Wergen.
All right. Item number 4, consideration of an addendum to the professional services agreement with the Schemmer Associates for construction phase services for the Isaac Walton to Highway 15 intersection improvements project in the amount of $100,652. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you. So this contract here represents, this is an amendment to the design contract that we have with Schemmer to produce the design documents, the plans and specifications with which we bid the project. So this will be the construction phase services. So essentially this is, the large portions of this are inspection while all the work is being done. There's a significant amount of survey being done here. There's also materials testing. So we have about 8,000 yards, so that is roughly 800 trucks worth of material that has to be brought in. And so with the intersection moving to the south, that whole embankment needs to be built up about 14 feet. And so all of this, and it's a small intersection, so a lot of activity in a very small little area. So it's relatively intensive in terms of the number of hours, totaling here 719 hours. The amount that they project here, that they're asking for this total hours is $100,652. That works out to be just under $140 an hour. Industry standard is roughly $150 an hour. The same company, Schemmer, is inspecting on both Park Avenue and the Bradford Street projects. We're getting the same inspector. He's actually going to be able to do all three projects. Simultaneously, he's done a very good job being the city's eyes and ears out on an hourly basis while those projects are ongoing in construction. So we have a lot of activity, but I am asking for approval of this contract amendment.
Thanks, Mike. Are there any questions or comments from the council on item number 4? Otherwise, I entertain a motion.
Also moved.
Second.
We have a motion to approve by Wergen, seconded by Streisand. Any further discussion? Seeing none, could register your votes. Please display the votes.
Voting in favor, Wilken, Kaler, Colterman, Singleton, Streisand, Wergen.
Alright. Item number 5, consideration of an ordinance amending the municipal code, initiating a sewer rate adjustment increasing total system revenues by 15%. This will be effective with October 2023 billing. Greg.
Yes, pursuant to the budget that was approved last week, we projected again, as we've told you in the past, that we were gonna have some pretty big increases on the sewer rates to help set aside money for the wastewater treatment plant that's essentially done being designed, and so we'll finish into environmental approval and start construction phases and potentially bonding. But in the meantime, we continue to work with federal partners and state partners to find funding for it. All increases last year and this year are all being set aside in a sinking fund that goes directly for the wastewater treatment plant. So that's like a line item placed in the budget. So again, pretty big increase, but this is again the largest capital project at an estimated approximately 32 million. So largest capital project we'll undertake for the foreseeable future. But getting ourselves prepped for that and making sure that we have the appropriate cash on hand into the future to cover bonding and debt financing. So,
And just to explain that a little bit further, what was the original estimate when we first started this project years ago?
Mike, I think it was,
Well, it's risen, 16 million back in 2018, 19 million in 2019, and costs effectively have doubled for infrastructure projects in the past 2-3 years.
And the reason I bring that up is just because, you know, I know like going way back to when John remembers with the big projects, sometimes they sneak up on people. And that was one of the criticisms I had heard when I first became mayor, was why aren't you being more proactive to adjust these rates as you go on so that you don't have such a big jump at some point in the future.
Like a digester.
Right, like, yeah, with the digester, for example. And so we were trying to, budget accordingly, thinking that with those numbers were what our target numbers were going to be. And unfortunately with COVID and all of the supply chain issues and the strain on the supply chain that's currently still out there, and it's just the demand for projects with an influx of federal dollars for other projects, all these things have kind of created a perfect storm, and that's the reason why this project caught us a little bit off guard, just because it caught the country off guard, and we're no different than everybody else. And so we're exploring some other avenues through state and federal governments to see if there are other grant type funding out there. There just really isn't for these types of projects they're not as common as they are for other types of infrastructure. So we'll continue to explore that, but in the meantime, we have to plan. We'll hope for the best, plan for the worst.
Yep.
So that's where we are. Greg, anything else?
And can I just, also to review, we are reaching full capacity, which is one of the reasons we need to move forward with this, correct?
yes, we're projected out we hit basically in March, things don't look good down there, correct, Mike?
Right, March is, because of cold weather.
Yep.
And sluggish bugs.
And so that's really what's going on down there, if you talk about the biology of a wastewater treatment plant, especially the one we have currently. And so this has been projected, it was in the long-term wastewater, plan before me and Mike even arrived to build a new wastewater plant. And so I think the first time me and Mike met was back when he was one of the engineers on the plans, and we talked about, that was when the planning began. Do we build it off-site? Do we acquire a new site? And what does it look like? And what style do we have? And Tim Richtig's influence on that, and Mike's continual follow-up with Brandon and Gary and all the work that we've done on it. I mean,
Well, and the reason I just clarify that for the record is I think sometimes with it not being something we talk about in every single meeting,
Yep.
just so that people are aware going forward, like, these are things that have been considered for quite some time. We're not just doing this for the fun of it, like, there is a reason behind it
Yeah.
that has to be done to keep us in compliance with the law.
and probably 2 points in the recent past. I think to some extent what the mayor just talked about being proactive, that's what you're seeing here, honestly, is us trying to gear this up. This is massively expensive. The other one is, I think,
Moving from Plum Creek to Blue River was a big assistance.
it did, it bought us time. The other one I was gonna say is that the state is fully aware of where we are at every time. So when we started expanding residentially, commercially, industrially, we were always having a conversation, and essentially we've been ahead of the curve.
Yeah.
What a lot of communities do is they wait till they go off the cliff, and they're just violation after violation after violation after violation. We're gonna hit that point potentially sometime in the future if stuff isn't done, but we're ahead of the curve in the context that we're moving forward down the path they would have forced us to go down anyways, correct, Mike?
Correct.
Just designing takes years.
Yes,
So you can
it's taken
imagine
us years.
If you
Right.
wait until the end, you're still many years out from even building. And this is also the main project that, if you look at our budget, why the budget is so much larger than it has been in previous years. This is the main, one of the main expenses that we have. So is with that, is there any questions or comments? It is an ordinance, so I need someone to introduce the ordinance at the appropriate time.
I'll introduce the ordinance.
Okay. An ordinance to amend sections 325-8.1 through 325-8.3 of the municipal code to initiate a sewer rate adjustment that will increase total system revenues generated by rates charged to customers for service from the sewer system of the city by 15% effective with the October 2023 billing, to provide for billing thereof, to repeal the original sections 325-8.1 through 325-8.3, to provide for a time when this ordinance shall take effect. The ordinance has been read by title and is designated as ordinance number 2023-22, and the title is hereby approved. I need a motion to dispense with statutory rules.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Colterman, second by Singleton.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, please register your votes. Please display the votes.
Voting in favor, Wilkin, Kaler, Colterman, Singleton, Streisand, Wergen.
Again, this is ordinance number 2023-22. Would anyone like to move that this ordinance be passed and adopted as read?
Second.
Moved by Wilkins, second by Streisand.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, the question is, shall ordinance number 2023-22 be finally passed and adopted? Please register your votes. Please display the votes.
Voting in favor, Wilkin, Kaler, Colterman, Singleton, Streisand, Wergen.
Alright. Item number 6, consideration of an ordinance amending the municipal code, initiating an electric rate adjustment, increasing total system revenues by 3%, effective with October 2023 billing. Greg.
Again, commiserate, in working with our rate studies, this is the projected one in regards to our capital outlays. Taking a look at the fact that as we continue to grow, we need to start planning for substation upgrades. We want to put in another substation for redundancy and growth down near the rail campus and the Walker station. We continue to see residential growth throughout the city, and so that just continues to kind of stress the system. And so we continue to grow, but this is in conformity with the budget that was approved last week. And that's that's where we're at. I can answer any other questions.
Any questions or comments? It is an ordinance, I will need someone to introduce the ordinance.
I'll introduce the ordinance.
Introduced by Morgan.
An ordinance to amend sections 237-3.1 through 237-3.13 of the municipal code to initiate an electric rate adjustment that will increase total system revenues generated by rates charged to customers for services from the electric distribution system of the city by 3%, effective with the October 2023 billing, to provide for billing thereof, to repeal the original sections sections 237-3.1 through 237-3.13, to provide for publication of this ordinance in pamphlet form, to provide for a time when this ordinance shall take effect. The ordinance has been read by title. It is designated as ordinance number 2023-23, and the title is hereby approved. I need a motion to dispense with statutory rule.
So moved.
Moved by Streisand, second by Kaler.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, please register your votes. Please display the votes.
Voting in favor, Wilkin, Kaler, Coltman, Singleton, Streisand, Morgan.
This is ordinance number 2023-23. Would anyone like to move that this ordinance be passed and adopted as read?
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Streisand, second by Wergen. We have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? The question is, shall ordinance number 2023-23 be finally passed and adopted? Please register your votes. Please display the votes.
Voting in favor, Wilkin, Kaler, Coltman, Singleton, Streisand, Morgan.
All right, thank you. Item number 7, consideration of an ordinance amending the comprehensive pay plan, providing for a 3.5% cost of living adjustment for all pay lines effective October 1, 2023. Greg?
Yes, pursuant to the budget, we have a 3.5% COLA. This is an adjustment to all line wages to accommodate for that. Again, this was recommended by the Personnel, Finance, and Audit Committee and ultimately approved within the budget this year. And so this will adjust wages accordingly.
Do you have any questions or comments from the council? Otherwise, I need someone to introduce the ordinance.
I'll introduce the ordinance.
An ordinance to provide for annual classification of officers and employees of the city of Seward, Nebraska, to provide for longevity pay and payment of part-time employees, to provide for a date such classification and pay ranges of compensation shall become effective, to provide for publication in pamphlet form, to provide for a time when this ordinance shall take effect. The ordinance has been read by title and is designated as ordinance number 2023-24, and the title is hereby approved. I need a motion to dispense with statutory rule.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion by Streisand, second by Wilkins. Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, please register your votes. Please display the votes.
Voting in favor, Wilkin, Kaler, Coltman, Singleton, Streisand, Morgan.
This is ordinance number 2023-24. Would anyone like to move that this ordinance be passed and adopted as read?
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Colterman, second by Morgan.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, the question is, shall ordinance number 2023-24 be finally passed and adopted? Please register your votes. Please display the votes.
Voting in favor, Wilkin, Kaler, Coltman, Singleton, Streisand, and Morgan.
This is the last ordinance for this evening, so I need one final motion to make all the ordinances a part of the permanent record.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Wergen, second by Singleton. Please register your votes. Please display the votes.
Voting in favor, Wilkin, Kaler, Coltman, Singleton, Streisand, Morgan.
All right, item number 8, consideration of an updated organizational chart. Greg?
Yeah, just pursuant to some of the changes we've made in the last year, some of the positions, city clerk, HR director, Derek Bargeman, created the updated organizational chart. Again, no organizational chart is perfect. I think you'd have to have like a weird 3D model to make this exactly perfect. But I think he did a great job in kind of putting this together and giving assistance to the staff and everybody else kind of looking at how the function of the city works. That's all I have.
Any questions or comments from the council? Or I'd ask someone to make a motion.
Move approved.
We have a motion.
Moved by Singleton, second by Kaler.
Any further discussion? Seeing none, please register your votes. Please display the votes.
Voting in favor, Wilkin, Kaler, Colterman, Singleton, Streisand, Morgan.
All right, item number 9, approval of audit engagement letter with AMGL to conduct the city's annual audit. Greg?
Yes, just our engagement letter, our standard letter that we get every year from ANGL. They will come in I believe, November and undertake our 2023 fiscal year audit. I can answer any questions. They do a great job. We will have to kind of wind up Sydney and get her used to it, but we have Julie on staff that will also be helping with us and getting all that stuff prepped for everybody.
Any questions or comments for Greg? Or entertain a motion?
Move to approve.
Second.
Motion by Wergen, second by Singleton. Any further discussion? Seeing none, please register your votes. Please display the votes.
Voting in favor, Wilkin, Kaler, Colterman, Singleton, Streisand, Morgan.
All right, item number 10, update on the Wellness Center. Joel, welcome.
Good evening, everyone. It has been an exciting last 2-3 weeks for information for the Wellness Center. We did have the bid package meeting with Sampson Construction. I came back, we're in good shape. We were able to update our cash flow chart for the financing and for the banks. And then today, we were able to have a pre-construction meeting, which was a big step forward. And we have a list of all the different items when they will start. And we are given a date of October 16th that dirt will be moving up there. There'll be some earthwork going on. And then we also will do a groundbreaking ceremony at the end of the month.
Do you have a date for the groundbreaking?
What's that?
Do you have a date?
31st. Or groundbreaking or ceremony?
Ceremony.
Ceremony 31st.
You have to wear a costume.
I was just gonna ask.
There were a lot of jokes about that and trying to set it. Like, hey, if somebody shows up in a hard hat, can we just come as the village people? Nope.
Do you have a time of day? Do you have anything?
10 a.m. And so yeah, it's been a good last couple weeks with information, and we feel very good going forward with what has been presented to us, and we're excited to see some things happening up there, and I'm sure everybody else will be too.
Thank you. Any questions comments from the council? All right, thanks, Joel. Next up, City Administrator's report.
Yes, again, leading up to this, I was doing the budget. Now that's clear, and now I'm trying to get back to some of my side projects and all the other stuff that's going on, but we go right into employee evals, and then I come out of that, and I'll be helping with getting things ready for audit. So that's probably some of my big ones, continuing to work with our new finance director to get spun up on now annual balancing and then payroll and all those other items. And so other than that, again, Wellness Center is going to start kicking in. We're going to start having pretty regular meetings every 2 weeks, and that will start picking up, and site meetings and site visits and everything else. Obviously, Joel will be taking the lead on that, but we'll have a few sets of eyes from the city, making sure things are continuing to progress up there. Other than that, I can answer any questions in the report for you.
Any questions or comments for Greg? Or we entertain a motion?
I'll move to accept the report.
Second.
We have a motion by Wergen, second by Streisand. Please register your votes. Please display the votes.
Voting in favor, Wilkin, Kaler, Colterman, Singleton, Streisand, Morgan.
All right, do we have any future requests for council agenda items or administrative action? Seeing none. Jonathan, welcome.
Good evening.
What's coming up in
All right.
Seward?
Yes, Friday, October 20th, ribbon cuttings for 2 new businesses in town, Wellness Redefined and Bone Vita Therapy, starting at 3:30 p.m. You're welcome to join us to celebrate. Monday, October 30th, we have the mentor night for the Concordia Catalyst Competition Business Plan Pitch, and so we welcome local business professionals as they'd like to join us as we engage with Concordia students and their business plan ideas. Lastly, we recently hosted the Creative District Open House on Thursday, September 28th, last week. We updated the public on initial survey priority projects and asked for their feedback and engagement. Really good discussion about arts and culture projects in downtown Seward. We're closing the Creative District Survey on Friday, October 6th, and would ask that you would promote it a little bit more this week if you're willing to across your constituency. Thanks to the City of Seward, especially Mindy, for the promotion and encouragement of the public to take this survey. We'll use the information to create a strategic plan for our Creative District application, which will support us to become certified as approximately number 16 in the state of Nebraska. When we're a Creative District, just a reminder, will give us access to various funding streams to support local arts and culture projects. With that, that's all I have. Thanks, Mayor.
Okay, thank you, Jonathan. Next we have strategy session.
Which one?
Well,
We are gonna do the.
Second one first?
The wellness center first.
Okay. I move that the city council go into closed session with the mayor and city administrator, city attorney Jonathan Jang, Joel Brady, and Shane Bach for the protection of the public interest, and to discuss contract negotiations for Seward Wellness Center, and to provide the city attorney with negotiating guidance for a period not to exceed 30 minutes.
we have a motion, is there a second? Motion by Coleman, seconded by Keeler. Please register your votes. Please display the votes.
Voting in favor, Wilkin, Taylor, Colterman, Singleton, Strice, and Morgan.
The council has voted to go into closed session at 7:41 p.m. for the protection of the public interest and to discuss contract negotiations for the Seward Wellness Center, to provide the city attorney with negotiating guidance. No formal action will be taken. We are in closed session.